Assalamu alaikum everyone. So this is my first video and this channel will basically teach O and A levels at Excel, accounting, business and economics. So I'll be focusing on just the O and A levels curriculum because these three topics are really broad and it will be impossible for me to cover every single aspect of it. So I will for the time being just start off with O and A levels and the Excel board. In the later in the near future I might try Cambridge as well. Anyways, to start right off, I want to start with depreciation because it is one of the most difficult chapters. So I'll be starting off with accounting and the topic depreciation. So why depreciation? Because it is one of the most difficult chapters and students often face a lot of problems regarding depreciation. So in this video we will just take a look at what depreciation is, the factors leading to depreciation, types of depreciation, what kind of expense depreciation falls under, and how to treat depreciation. So, beginning with what is depreciation? So, depreciation is basically just a fall in value, a fall in value. So, in terms of accounting, when we buy fixed assets or non-current assets, I'll discuss what they are in another video, but if you guys already know what they are, that's great. So fixed assets or non-current assets, when we buy them, they do not have the same value. They do not have the same value a few years later, or they do not have the same value after some time passes. And depreciation is basically just a fall in value. And what leads to depreciation? Well, factors leading to depreciation are, the first thing is time, the second thing is wear and tear, and third thing is sorry for the mistake, obsolescence, and I think that's about it. Yeah, time, wear and tear, and obsolescence. So suppose you bought a machinery, or suppose you bought a vehicle for your business, a motor vehicle for your business, a mini truck, let's say, to pick up some supplies or to deliver some supplies, right? So suppose you bought it for, let's say, 100,000 taka or BTT in the year 2016. Now, what is depreciation? As I said earlier, a fall in value. So do you think after 3 years of usage, let's say in 2019, the value of that vehicle will remain the same? What do you think? If you say yes, then you are wrong. If you say no, congratulations, you are correct. The value of the vehicle will fall. Indeed, it will fall. Now, by how much will it fall? That is a whole different game. Here comes types of depreciation, but I'll get to that later. So the value of the vehicle will fall. It will not stay 100,000 taka, that's for sure. Maybe it will fall by 5,000 taka, or maybe it will fall by 10,000 taka, or maybe it will fall by 50,000 taka. That depends on these three factors. Now, we already discussed time. 3 years have passed, and let's say 3 years have passed, the vehicle is running fine, the mileage is good, the maintenance is good, everything is good, the interior and the exterior, everything is good. There is no wear and tear and there is no obsolescence. So let's say the value will fall by only 5,000 taka. So in 2019, the value will be maybe 95,000 BDT. However, what is wear and tear? Wear and tear is, uh, when you are driving a car for quite some time, there are some scratches on the mirror. There's some teared off interior. The car faced some damage here and there. The looking glass is a bit shaky. So wear and tear is basically you are using something and it is getting, it is not, it is losing its value, it is not remaining intact. So that is wear and tear. So let's say I used it for 3 years and I used it really roughly. Say I had to travel long distances. Let's say I had to deliver, uh, I had to deliver my orders out of town. So in that case, there will be wear and tear. Maybe the brakes will not function 100% properly. Maybe there will be some problems with the gear and stuff like that. So in those scenarios, the value will fall a bit more. The value will fall a bit more. So let's say maybe 80,000 BDT. Sorry for the camera angles, I'll try to fix it. And then finally comes obsolete. Obsolescence is basically, or obsolete is basically, it is not useful anymore. So let's say if you had a fatal crash, or let's say if you faced some sort of really bad accident, and the car is non-functionable. So in that case, the value will fall really drastically. It might go down to, let's say, 20,000. It is worth scraps right now. You can only sell it for parts. You cannot sell the whole car. So this is depreciation, just the fall in value. You see, it was 100,000 taka, and then due to certain factors, it could be 95,000, 80,000, or 20,000. Now, these are all generalized calculations, just generalized assumptions and conceptions, but we have to dig in much deeper to actually calculate depreciation. And here comes the types of depreciation. So there are actually quite a lot of types of depreciation, but for the time being, we will just focus on two, and they're, let me fix it. I'm sorry. Okay, and they're straight line, and secondly, reducing balance method. Now, it can also be called diminishing balance method, reducing or diminishing. Now, let's start with straight line. So these two are basically how you calculate depreciation. I know they're very fancy names, but they're really easy to calculate. So let's get back to our old example. 100,000 BDT for the motor vehicle. Now we have to keep in mind that this 100,000 is, sorry, there will be one more zero. This 100,000 is our cost price. Okay, this is our cost price. So in 2016, I want to know how much it depreciated in 2016. So I'll assume that the business started in 1st of Jan. If it starts on 1st of Jan, then it will end on 31st December. That is the fiscal year or the business year. So I want to calculate how much this motor vehicle depreciated in this period of time. So in order for me to do that, I can either choose straight line or reducing balance. Let's say I choose straight line, and let's say I think that it might depreciate by 10% every year due to some market conditions and some past market knowledge. I might say it might depreciate by 10% for the remainder of his life. So in that scenario, I have to do is 100,000 into 10%, and that is 10,000, right? 10,000. Okay, now, so this is the depreciation for the first year. If I want to move on to the next year, then I'll just do the same thing, 100,000 multiplied by 10%, 10,000. So 2018, the same thing once again. Okay, so now I want to find out in 2019 what is the value of my vehicle right now. So let's see, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Let's add them up, and they're 30,000, right? So in 2019, the value of your vehicle has become 100,000 minus 30,000, and that is 70,000 BDT. So the value of your vehicle has fallen by 30,000. I hope you understand how this worked. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments. I'll try my best to fix it or make it more clear. And I'm really sorry if I'm not being able to be clear, because this is my very first video, and I'll try my best to do better. Sorry about that. Okay, now the straight line method is really easy. But what if there are no percentages given? What if there are no percentages? Okay, what if you don't know the market conditions? What if you don't know how the market works? Then how do you calculate this? In that scenario, we have to take into account how many years are we going to use this vehicle. So let's say I'm going to use this vehicle for say 8 years. I'm going to use this car for 8 years, all right? And we have to think about the residual value. Okay, now what is residual value, you may ask? Or so this is also called salvage value. Okay, so what is this? This is when this is basically the value that asset has after it is being fully used. After it being fully used, like you may buy an iPhone 14 and you may use it for, let's say, 7 to 8 years, and you use it to its full capacity. Now you might have an idea that, okay, this iPhone 13 or 14, whatever it is, it costed me, let's say, 100,000. That is very low, but let's say it costed me 100,000, and after using it to its fullest of the fullest ability and capacity, its battery health is now at maybe 20%. That is dangerously low, but let's say it is at 20%. The camera is quite broken, it is not working properly. So what might be the value of this iPhone right now? You can get an understanding. So let's say you assume the value of the iPhone is maybe 10,000 or 15,000. So that is residual value or salvage value. The value of an asset, fixed asset or non-current asset, after it is being fully used, after it being fully used to its fullest and highest capacity, after it has been fully depreciated, you can say that as well. So let's say use it for 8 years, and you assume that this motor vehicle that you purchased, might have a salvage value of, let's say, 25,000 or 20,000 maybe. 20,000 BDT is the last value it can come at. So now how do you calculate the yearly or annual depreciation? You just take the cost price minus residual or salvage value, I'm writing in short, divided by the number of years you use it. So number of years. So in this case it will be, sorry for the top class 4K resolution and amazing Christopher Nolan quality. So it will be 100,000 minus 20,000 divided by 8, and that is 80,000 divided by 8, which is 10,000, the same as this percentage. Now this was a coincidence, it doesn't happen all the time. Just because this match doesn't mean that yours have to match as well. It depends on the residual value that you take, it depends on the number of years that you're going to use it, and then it depends on the percentage you take. So just because this match doesn't mean that all of it has to match. Just letting you know about that, because it can vary from corporation to corporation, policies to policies. So yeah, that's about it for this video. It has already become too long, and this is my very first video, so please forgive me for any kind of mistakes, for any kind of incorrect information I may have given, and please comment down below what do you think, how can I improve apart from the obvious exceptional quality of my camera, and you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so subscribe, and bye.